I will maybe talk about our approach, our strategy, so that you can understand the thinking behind the new e-government master plan and how we execute those programs. I think we'll start off with knowing what kind of world we are in today. And I break them into two. One is the world that we know, and the other one is the world that we don't know. The world that we know, the speakers have spoken. We are in a digital world. Internet connects everybody. Population are getting sophisticated. I think we know all this. In fact, the things that don't change is actually change itself. You got it? Change is continuous. It's something that will never change. And the signs were there. What if we do not cope with changes? This is an interesting example. You know, this is an amphibious craft in World War II, long ago, 60 years ago. Landing on beaches used to be a very dangerous thing because there's shooting everywhere, artillery, machine guns. So somebody came up with a very good innovation. You can put soldiers inside, give them protection, and because it can travel on sea and on land, it can quickly bring the soldiers to the shore. Must have saved thousands of lives. 50 years later, a very innovative businessman came up with a brilliant idea. Voila! No more frightened soldiers, but happy tourists. Of course, they are shooting everywhere, but it's camera, not machine guns. And with this, you can tour the streets, look at the buildings, followed by going to the sea, have a coastal ride, and have a panoramic view of the coastal skyline. Wow, how can it fail? It's a good business plan. So you apply for license. Since this is a vehicle, it goes to land authority. But the land authority say, hey, there's a propeller. This is not a vehicle. This is a boat. It's the maritime authority. And so you go to the maritime authority and say, hey, boat don't have wheels. This is a vehicle. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I don't know. The Prime Minister said it ding dong a long time. How do I know? He didn't call me, you know. It's actually a National Day case study. So finally, they have to resolve it. So, if you don't cope with changes, you may end up in a National Day case study. So, better keep up with changes. The problem now is we don't have 50 years. It's becoming faster and faster and faster. People said internet was very fast. The pickup of internet, it was much faster than the computers. Listen, mobile internet is take half the time of the computer internet to reach critical mass. Just getting shorter and shorter. No more 50 years. You think you have 5 years? You're lucky if you have 1 year. That's the world that we know. Now the world that we don't know. Year 2000, how many of you were here in year 2000? The internet.com. Come on, you're not 10 years old, are you? Those were the days. I remembered I was a CEO of a multinational and I was looking at the Asia operation and we were launching a new product. I told my marketing manager, come on, let's get some publicity. Bring the reporters in, interview me. You know what she told me? James, reporters only want to interview CEOs who are 29 years old and below. You have expired years ago. Oh, what a nasty marketing manager. But honest, she's right. Those were the days young kids bring 200 companies, put up website, worth 20 million capitalization. Why? Eyeballs, eyeballs. Not surprisingly, 2 years later, 2002, .com become .gone. Vaporized, blood on the streets. So what was left standing are IT companies that have fundamentals. Oracle, Microsoft. Microsoft was king for 2 decades. No one can touch them. After all, they control the PCs, right? They have a network effect. What if in year 2002, I tell you that years down the road, the company that will rock Microsoft and give them sleepless nights, make them have a run for their money, is a company based on eyeballs as a fundamental. Google. You think I'm mad, right? It's a scam. Eyeballs is a scam. It won't work. But that's what Google is all about. Last year, Sony buried Walkman once and for all. It has been common for many years. I still remember in 2005, I met Sony executives, and they were saying how badly hurt they were. Because the Walkman is a Sony format. You know what killed the Walkman? It's not a missile from a drone. It's not a company. It's standard. MP3. Open standard. And in 2005, they said, in the new world, if you want to succeed, better be open standard. What if in 2005, I tell people, the company that will ultimately topple Microsoft is one based on closed proprietary system? Apple. I just did a check on the capitalization. Microsoft is 204 billion US. You know what's Apple's cap? 307. Oh, look at the, oh, even, wow, wow. Any Apple guys here, fix this up. There's a boom in that. Proprietary, close. No need to go 5 years. 3 years ago, if I tell you the 2 leading mobile phone makers is not Nokia, it's not Motorola, it's not Ericsson, would you believe me? They are computer companies, Apple and Google, Android, iOS. 1 year ago, when netbook was touted as the next generation innovation, who would have guessed that tablet is going to be the name of the game? Just 1 year ago, when the iPad came, changed the whole picture. So there are really things that we don't know. First, to admit it. If you know, you'll be sipping champagne in your private 120 meters yacht, buying the right shares. So how do we plan the e-government? When the world is getting so complex, changing so fast, and there are so many things that we don't know. Well, we follow 3 very simple principles, fundamentals, that we hope will be our guiding light. First is, we must establish value. What is the role of e-government? It's to support government. And what does government do? What is of value to government? Same, simple answers. Generate economic value, generate wealth, improve quality of life, make a place safer, stamp out diseases, remove crime if you can, terrorism, social. Don't waste citizens' time spending 1 day traveling, queuing up, when it can be done 30 minutes online. Better still, like the tax, don't have to do anything at all. So we have to establish the value, and the value comes from understanding the end user, the citizens, the corporate businesses. Secondly, is to know the ground. Because the things are changing so fast, and again, everywhere you go is like a green jungle. How do you know which path is safe, which path is misleading, which path is dangerous? And the way to do it is really to collaborate with people in the ground, on the ground who knows. And of course, finally, to execute. Unfortunately, because of the complexity, sometimes problems cannot be solved by one agency. It's all multi-agencies. For the duck tour, you can see 2 agencies are involved. How many agencies responsible for this integrated resort? 12 to get this up. But this has been a big contribution to the economy, but it's complex. So we follow these 3 principles, and you ask, what if we don't? Well, another case study. It's a green city, right? I think a lot of you, especially the foreigners who come here, they admire the garden city. But it's a lot of work. We got to make sure the grass is kept clean, and being cut, and so on. The grass cutter used to use metal blades. I don't know how many of you have seen that. Metal blades, sharp metal blades. This is not only able to cut grass, it can cut trees even. It can cut you and me too. And it's so not surprising, after a few accidents, the government came in and said, look, you have to have safety. And so they invested a lot of money designing shields to cover the metal blades. They have to do studies to make sure if the blade leaves, fly off, you can contain it, and so on and so forth, and how to shape it. But you know what happened after that? They were assuming the grasses outside is like football field. But as you know, there are undulating grounds, there are rocks, there are pavements. And so when we fitted with those shields, those workers find that after they cut the grass, all along the perimeter and the undulating ground are not cut. You can't cut because of the obstacle. And they have to manually trim it. Productivity dropped by half. So one fine day, a worker has got enough, stripped the whole thing, stripped the blade, and used one small nylon string and did the job perfectly, corners and all that, and it's safe. This is an example where you really are not clear about the value proposition. You did not consult the people who are using it, don't understand the ground, and a poor execution. Well, fortunately, this is not a National Day story. I think Prime Minister is not aware of this. So, that's why the new e-Government Masterplan is one based on collaboration. With the changing world and with so many things we don't know, and the complexity, government don't have all the answers. We recognize that. In the past, possible. Government has a lot of information, so it's government to you. They'll tell you what to do. Today is government with you. Because we recognize a lot of answers could be in the private sector, could be with citizens, could be with other countries. So that's why we have you notice they're all C's, collaborative government, co-create, connect, and to catalyze within. Anyway, for those foreigners, Singaporeans love C, career, cash, condominium, country club, car, lately casino. But there's one big C actually symbolizes the spirit of the new master plan. Guess what is it? It's actually culture. It's a culture change. It's a difficult master plan because it's no longer about technology. It's about looking outwards. It's about partnership. That's tough. If it's technology, it's simple. If it's re-engineering, yeah, we can change the process. But looking out, partnering, wow, that's a mindset change.